Greetings and salutations, this is Imperator Vespasian and his trusty sidekick.
Hello!
Today we're going to be having a look at the Alabama Red Rovers, who are for our Alamo game. This is the whole unit that we've put together, 18 men in the unit for our Alamo game. In the actual Battle of the Alamo you wouldn't actually have had this many men for head of figure. However, we have done it as a full unit.
I'm going to play a big damn good battle.
Before we play big battles, so...
But it appears I don't really need that many men.
No, because we've just done a play test
No.
and the Texans won. That's the card for them, is it?
Oh, we focus, everybody.
Oh, right. The men go back in focus? Good. These are the Red Rovers. They were volunteers. Actually, everyone in the Texan War of Independence were volunteers.
Apart from infantry, than ordinary Texan infantry.
Well, they're all volunteers. Basically, the rebels put a newspaper article out across America saying, "Come and help us for independence and we'll give you free land. All you need to do is bring 100 rounds of ammunition and a musket." And believe it or not, lots of people volunteered. The Red Rovers came from a town, I can't remember its name, but they basically, a third of the population of the town volunteered to go to Texas, which became the Red Rovers. They wore red because the uniform was, they needed a uniform and they dyed the linen, or the wool, red with a local dye that was quite cheap.
Yeah, but it looks cool.
It does look cool.
Yeah.
It look quite good. There's actually a reenactment group of the Red Rovers. If you type them in on the net, you'll be able to find them. And I did find some interesting historical bits on there about them.
Unfortunately for them, they stand out.
Yeah, they do stand out. Yeah, but that's the whole point.
So does the Mexicans. They stand out.
Again, that is the whole point. The armies in those days didn't try to hide. The Red Rovers were among the best, some of the best troops that the Texans had. Although they were volunteers, they weren't trained soldiers. They did...
The New Orleans were.
The New Orleans were. But they were actually quite good shooters, sort of disciplined. And at, I believe, Goliad, they went up against the Indians. There were American Indians serving in the Mexican army. They were very, very good shots. And they were coming up around the side of the Texan army and just sniping away at the soldiers. And the Red Rovers were sent in to flush them out, and they actually succeeded, which was a lot better than...
The Red Rovers never really get mentioned in films, were they?
No, but you can't tell the entire story, can you?
Out of the New Orleans, they're not in either.
Yeah, you do see them in some versions of the film.
They never explain it.
No, but the New Orleans Greys and the Red Rovers were the main sort of volunteer regiments. There were also the Kentucky Mustangs, who didn't fight at the Alamo, but they also fought alongside the rest of the Texans for the War of Independence. So, yeah, there were a lot of volunteers coming into Mexico at the time. And I would say that probably half of the combat troops would probably not even have been Texans, not legally Texans.
Like Bowie? Was it?
Bowie was legally a Texan. He was a Texan citizen. Crockett was also a Texan citizen.
Who was it then who had a who had his Mexican citizenship?
No, both of them were. They were both
Right,
Mexicans. They were all Mexicans.
That's why them two wanted to leave.
Yeah, well, that's why they were executed at the end. Or why Barry? Crockett
was, because Jim was already dead.
Yeah, because he was legally a traitor. And the penalty for treason in any sensible country is death. It's not in England. Tony Blair changed the law Just before he committed treason, he changed the law so treason didn't carry the death penalty. Then he committed treason. So that was handy for him. That personally, I think that should be void.
Well, committed treason now is really hard.
Why?
I mean, you have to really try.
Well,
to commit treason.
Trying to change the ethnic diversity and mix of a country is treasonable. Deliberately pursuing your country into a war is also treasonable.
Everyone do that?
Well, yeah, but it's treason. So
the Nazis treasons.
What? No, why would they be?
Oh yeah, think about Nazis. Thanks for commenting, everybody, on the player battle.
Oh yeah, we just got a comment which said that my beloved son is a member of the Hitler Youth because he's wearing his school uniform has the logo to the school uniform is SS, which perhaps they should have thought about that.
Yes, maybe let's just turn his colour black. I think it was suited better.
You see, it's funny, around here no one would have thought that.
Yeah.
Where we come from,
it's like before
we moved here, where we come from, that would have been the first thing on people's minds. So it's odd that I never even realised until it got pointed out on YouTube. But it is actually very true. It's very strange. So, what's it like being in the?
Very good, thank you.
Is it?
I get everything. Even comments.
Yes. But anyway, that's all besides the point. Do you have any questions on this particular?
We only just began.
Well, I'd sort of run through.
Yeah.
Anything else in the history?
Okay. Why the hell the Rovers have a communist flag?
They were Bernie supporters. They basically.
Can't say that.
Is Bernie still alive?
Yeah.
I don't know. It is a few months since the election. I'm not sure if he's still around. Now, the red was the cheapest colour that they had in the town, and the people of the town all got together. The cheapest dye they had was red, and so they dyed all their clothing, and they got a big sheet and dyed that red.
All they need now is a commissar.
They did make another flag later on, which would have been after Goliad. But that was never actually used in the war, but the flag was sort of a blue and white, two blue and white bars with a red thing. But I didn't bother making that flag because it wasn't actually used in the war. There's quite a lot, if you look on the net, there's lots of wars for the Texan War of Independence. Lots of flags for the Texan War of Independence online, and most of them were never used. Most of them were sort of local flags made in a local town, or they weren't proper flags. And the majority of flags made by the Texans themselves were converted Mexican flags. They just got a Mexican flag and Texanified it. Either wrote Texas on it or Texas 1813.
Texas Freedom Fighters.
Yeah, they wrote Texas on it. You've probably already seen this one, but that is one of the Texan flags with the Union Jack in the corner. It's basically a Mexican flag. That's the Mexican flag. Actually, that's a better version of the Mexican flag. And it's got the Jack in the corner because those particular troops were English. And so they considered that's the flag they fought under, because they came from Britain.
Interesting.
And you would probably get you wouldn't get any German flags in there because most of the Germans settled in the centre bit of America, so you didn't get Germans down this far. There's certainly French, a few Scandinavians, not too many, but there are certainly a few. Yeah, interesting stuff. At the Battle of Goliad, the Red Rovers were massacred. They surrendered at the battle, and then they were taken out and shot, which was kind of pretty unpleasant. Some of the survivors who managed to avoid the battle managed to make it to the Alamo, which is where they met their end. So they were certainly dependable troops.
Or expendable.
Yeah, one thing, the Texans tended to be better at shooting, a lot better trained and a lot better disciplined. No Mexican army ever managed to stand up to a frontal assault. They never managed to make a frontal assault against the Texans. because the Texans would just outshoot them. So the Mexicans had to rely on American Indians to do the fighting, to do the shooting, because they were better trained at shooting and stuff, because they lived in the wild and they shot their prey. They shot what they ate. Pretty much the same for these guys, which is why they were such good soldiers in combat. Yeah. Same principle of the German army for the First World War as well. When they brought in conscription, the men who sort of lived in the fields, lived in the countryside, would be naturally better shots because they grew up as a child shooting animals, hunting. And so they would put 2 or 3 men in each platoon that came from the countryside, and they were the snipers.
That's it, yeah, that's it, yeah.
Yeah.
Countrymen should be snipers because they've got a sharper eye.
Yeah, and so in the First World War, and to a degree in the Second World War, most people killed by German soldiers in combat would be killed by just a handful of German soldiers. The rest of the German soldiers were just there to keep the numbers up and to protect the snipers. The snipers were the ones who did all the shooting. All the other soldiers were just firing blind over the enemy's heads to keep the heads down to give time for the sniper to shoot them. Interesting.
Indeed.
Except maybe on the Eastern Front, where there was a lot more close quarter fighting.
Well, Western Front?
No, not that much. Not that much. Generally, we tried to avoid frontal confrontations with the Germans.
Life on the Western Front. Love that movie.
Yeah. Any attempt to take the German trenches would be done en masse. So there would be huge offensives. We didn't have much in the way of small offensives.
Small offensives is probably better because then you'd be less...
company to battalion strength, just trying to take a German position, that sort of thing. Didn't happen often. Yeah, didn't happen often. But more likely to succeed, as you say. The mass grand assaults tended to fail because logistics, really. But anyway, we're on about the Texan War of Independence. Do you have any questions?
We did one.
You did one about the flag.
The next one. Where were the... what war were the Red Rovers positioned on?
The Red Rovers were on the... I'm trying to think. The Greys were on the west wall. The Red Rovers were on the east wall. So that would be that wall there.
So were they part of most of the fighting?
Yeah. They would have been broken through by when the Mexican troops funneled around the side. The main attack was against the north wall, and a lot of the troops went around the side of the north wall where they couldn't get through, where there was a sort of bottleneck.
Actually, I think
they funneled in that way.
If they failed, if they didn't fail their plan and started attacking the north wall, I think they would have won. The Texans would have won.
Yeah, it's quite likely that it could have turned into a debacle, because bear in mind it was night time, and attacks at night, when they go wrong, they go disastrously wrong. All the Texans had to do was hold the wall. That is all they had to do. They didn't have to think. They just had to hit anyone over the head who came over the edge of the wall and shoot anybody who wasn't on your side of the wall.
And the Mexicans had to do all the rest.
Yeah, the Mexicans had to do all the running around and thinking. So that it could have been that had the Mexican colonel not managed to get over the wall and open the door in the wall, in the north wall, then they may not have got in, which would not have caused other things to go wrong, because the troops on the west wall deserted the wall, thinking that they'd been overrun, but they hadn't.
That kind of happens at night, doesn't it? Because you never know what's really going on.
Yeah, because it was night time, there's flashes and bangs everywhere, someone shouts there's Mexicans in the wall, and everyone goes, oh well, we've lost it. And we'll retreat to the second position, and that's when it goes wrong.
And when they retreated to the second position, they were all slaughtered.
They made the mistake. They didn't spike their guns.
You know what I mean?
The Mexicans took the cannon and fired the cannon into the Texans.
Why?
Because the Mexicans...
Why didn't the Texans, like...
They just ran away from the guns, they deserted them and ran over to the defence line, the next defence line.
Leaving the enemy with the cannon?
Yeah, and the enemy took the cannon, loaded the gun,
Shrapnel.
and fired it into the Texans. So that was really the end of the defence. But given the amount of casualties that Santa Anna's forces took, it was quite a high casualty rate for the Texans.
I think the Texans would have lost their whole army if the Texans didn't go all wrong.
Yeah, I think it helped. I think that the Mexicans. It was a Pyrrhic victory for the Mexicans. I think the amount of casualties they took wasn't worth taking the Alamo. They could have just starved them out.
That's what I would have done.
Yeah, or they could have just shelled them with heavy guns.
That would have cost a lot.
Really. It would have cost a lot. It would take time.
Starve it out.
But
if you starve it out, what his problem was, as he's starving him out, the other guy's army could have arrived.
Fannon's
army could have arrived.
But they arrived late anyway, so.
Yeah, but if they decided to starve them out,
yeah,
the Texans out, then that army would have arrived.
But by the time the Alamo fell, Fannon's army was running away. It was retreating. So.
Oh no, because he was trying to. Because what's his name again? Head of Mexicans.
Santa Anna.
Because Santa Anna considered himself a Napoleon, and with Napoleon's weakness was open ground combat.
Yeah.
He couldn't do it.
Yeah, very true.
Which is why he lost his army after the Alamo against what's his name again? Farah.
I try to remember Fannin.
That's how Fannin lost.
Fannin and there was another very good general that the Americans were actually blessed to have some pretty good leaders.
They wanted to kill him. They wanted to kill Fannin for running away.
Yeah.
The Texans. Yeah.
They had some. Fannin knew that he couldn't commit his forces to an open battle.
And its own soldiers.
He wanted an open battle.
Yeah, and its own soldiers
but
wasn't dead.
Mexicans wouldn't commit to an open battle. Yeah. Because he knew he could outgun the Mexicans wherever he fought them.
Yeah.
Whereas the Mexicans didn't do that. They kept going around the sides of Fannon's army, and so Fannin had to keep retreating.
The stupid thing he did, Santa Anna, was get one block of his army to go down the centre while he was travelling, and the other two halves of the army to go around.
Yes.
Leaving Santa Anna alone.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was that centre army that the Texans attacked.
And that's where Santa Anna was.
Yes, and that's where they lost the war. Santa Anna was
too cocky.
Yeah, Santa Anna tried to escape by dressing as a dragoon.
Yeah, I know, and he failed.
And they found him in a bush.
Yeah.
Dressed as a dragoon. How many dragoons do you have with one leg?
Makes you think, wait a minute, so did he snatch the clothes from a dead body?
I would have guessed that someone like Santa Anna, if you read his biography, someone like Santa Anna would have several spare uniforms, including American uniforms, just in case.
He's just going to his tent.
Yeah.
A dragoon, officer, emperor.
But that would be the sort of thing Santa Anna would do. He was a survivor. He was a genuine survivor.
Yeah, but and he was a traitor for running away.
Well, his army had been destroyed.
Well, trying to run away.
He was trying to get back. And anyway, by then he'd been deposed by the government.
Well, for starters, the Texan army didn't even know that Santa Anna was there.
No, they didn't.
They thought he was in Alamo.
They thought he was with the northern part of the army, which was getting ready for winter. So. Or was wintering, should I say. Yeah. So that's it. That's really... you haven't got any more questions, have you?
No.
No? I did think it was quite an interesting subject, the Red Rovers. I was originally only going to do the New Orleans Greys, which, as you said, New Orleans Greys, everyone knows about them, you know, the recognisable uniform. You don't really see much on the Red Rovers when people do the Alamo. So I thought the Red Rovers would be interesting. The Kentucky Mustangs didn't really have a uniform, so not much I can really do with those guys.
Mm-hmm.
But here we are. That's it. That is the the end of the video. Do you want to do the outro thing? Thank you very much for watching, by the way. Over to you.
I was going to say that as well.
I know you do,
That's
but
my
I
outro.
never say it.
Yeah, because it's me.
Yeah, I know.
I hired that stuff. It's
yeah,
mine.
Yeah, so
It's mine.
over to you.
So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and comment down below how awesome I am. Oh, sorry, that's a slip of the tongue. Sorry about that. How awesome the Red Rovers are.
Yeah,
Sorry.
sat there in your SS uniform. Yeah.
It's okay. I'm not in front of the camera this time. Where was I? And click like.
Yeah, that's cool.
Smash the like button with the Red Rover figure.
So it's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from him.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.